My name is Bambi, and a lot of you don't know me, but yeah, I'll just start by saying I was born in 1997. Yeah, don't let this look fool you. I still look like a kid, but yeah. So about being born in 97, like we're technically a Gen Z, right? But the Gen Zs don't want us, they said you're too old. And then the millennials also don't want us, they say you are too young. And what does that mean? It means like we're like emotionally homeless. So, and then both the groups, though, like both the Gen Zs and the millennials, they said that, oh, you have serious trauma. And yeah, speaking of trauma, we are really, really traumatized. I remember because when you grew up between like the both Gen Zs and millennials, you'll be having so much trauma because there's a series of very, very hard parenting. Our parents were really hard with us, right? So what happened is I used to get sick a lot. And then the rule at home, the golden rule about getting sick was that if you are sick, you're not allowed to smile. You're not allowed to be happy. Yeah, and you're not allowed even to watch TV. If you can still laugh, means you are faking it, right? Yeah, the ones who are not Gen Zs, they will be like, what? Yeah, that's just how you're raised. It's not traumatizing at all. Like, that's just how we are raised. Speaking of another trauma, when we disappoint our parents, we tend to get beaten up like a lot. Okay, but then the golden rule about getting beaten up, if you know how to survive it, is that when you cry right after they beat you, they will stop beating you. But if you don't cry, they will beat you till you cry. But if you keep crying after getting beaten, they will beat you up so that you will stop crying until you stop crying. I remember I used to do this because I was crying too much. I was holding my breath, I don't know. But then they will be like, come on, come on. And then after that, they will feed you. They will say, okay, you know that, like, I love you, right? And then after that, we are like, okay, fine. And then we become calm again. We love our parents again, right? So yeah, and then yeah, I will keep repeating this time. Okay, it's not trauma. It's just how we are raised. We are raised to be strong. Yeah, we tend to tell ourselves that, right? Really, really need your therapy. Okay. And then speaking of another thing, like we learned discipline the hard way. I remember I was in class 1. It was 2004. So what happened was, both my parents thought that one of them had taken me to school. But then the thing was, I was in my brother's room. I had an elder brother. He was 18 that time, I think. Yeah, he was busy playing video games, that old-fashioned video games. They use the one that they plug it to the TV or something, right? Yeah, and then I don't know what it was called. So I was like, I wanted to play, but he would not let me play because, yeah, he's the eldest. He gets his own way. So I was just watching him play. And then I was supposed to be in school by 8:30, and then it was already 9. And then my father found out that I was still there. And then he was like, Chalo, we're going. And I was like, Nai, last pelat. And then they were like, no, no, we are going. And then he dragged me to school. And I was crying all the way to school. And then we reached school at 9:30 because we obviously walked to school. And then I was crying at the gate too. That Chaukidar was comforting me more than my father did. Okay. But then he was like, I don't want to go. He was like, I don't want to go. And he was like, no, we're going. Because that time, I don't know nowadays, but that time they still allow parents to go to the classroom too. And then my dad was like, yeah, yeah, in late bed. And then he brought me to classroom. It was so embarrassing that I was never late for school again. Like, that's how they taught us how to be on time, right? So, okay. There's another thing. It's about discipline. I remember how we learned about discipline is that, winter breaks, right? It's like usually like the most fun time of the year because I don't know about the kids nowadays, but then for us, childhood, and then winter breaks, like we are out there in the jungle, playing in the river, swinging on trees, and then Obviously, we have to go collect twigs and firewood, and the best part, pine cones, because we were like really poor. We could not afford that charcoal to warm ourselves like all dinner. So we collected pine cones because it also burns easily. So, but then we would be caught up in playing, and we used to take the, what's that called? Cement sacks. We used to slide on the cement sacks all the way from the mountain down the mountain, and then we will be very, very dirty. And then by the time we remember that we have to return home, it will already be dark. And then my mother will be waiting. She will already be waiting. And then what will happen? She will be like, one slam, Judan yang dan sam sudah, something like that. And then that the horror doesn't stop there. She will beat us up. And after beating us up, you know what she will do? Guess. No. And then she will do this. She will wash our hands and feet. She could have told us to wash our hands and feet, right? But no, she will do that herself to ensure that we are clean. And you know what she used? She will use that stone that she picked up from a random river to scrub our skin till the top layer comes out. And then we would be crying. And then after that, what else she will do? She will apply glycerin and sojo. And then we will cry more. And then we will learn that we're not supposed to wander too deep into the jungle, because now I don't even wander that deep in WhatsApp. And then speaking of skin, there's I don't know whether you have seen it or you are using it, I don't know. But there's this very trendy exfoliating cream on Instagram. It removes the dead skin cells, right? Exfoliating cream. Yeah. And then I was kind of like laughing and giggling to myself, because if I were to show it to my mother, I was like, May, let's try this cream because it will make you fair and it will remove all the dead skin. You know what she will say to me? She will say, that person is just dirty. She doesn't clean herself properly. Because you can do that for free with that stone that we picked up from the river. And then guess what? You won't even need to use wheat or that shaving cream, because it will solve two problems. It will make your skin clean, and it will remove all the hair from your feet and hands. You can do it for free. Don't spend. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.